Since 1983, FAME has helped business and education work for Maine. Contact the authority, the Finance Authority of Maine. You're watching Maine Biz Sunday, Maine's business news source.
With us to discuss what's new in Maine's economic development world are Matt Jacobson, CEO of Maine & Company, Charlie Spies, Managing Director of CEI Capital Management, Michael Obey, President of Eastern Maine Development Corporation, and Bob Thompson, Executive Director of the Androscoggin Valley Council of Governments. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. A lot to cover here today, obviously. I will say first, starting this, you weren't my first choice to be here today. My first choice was Philip Congdon and John Butera, but they couldn't make it. We had them scheduled 3 or 4 different times to come, and there's lots going on in Augusta, I guess, so they weren't able to make it. So you get to come first and talk about the state's economic development strategies.
All right.
So that's their loss, your game. All right. Thanks for being here. And I really am glad we have you, because you really do represent a good part of the state, a broad part of the state, and a lot of the folks are really on the ground doing economic development work with businesses. So I'm going to start out with, I want you to weigh in on kind of the LePage administration, how they're doing, and what you're hearing so far, and what is the right role for government, state government in particular, as it relates to economic development. And Bob, I'm going to start with you. Just kind of give us where you think about that.
I think the first thing we need to see is some leadership. We need to have some guidance and direction, because clearly in carrying out our programs and activities, we need to be consistent with where the governor is going to be on a policy basis and where the legislature is going to be headed with respect to both funding and programs.
So sounds like you're waiting for that statement to come out, that leadership piece to come out?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Others?
I think we're really at the crossroads in terms of the state election last fall really said, here's where we want to go. And so once those things happen, I think it's a real opportunity for those of us who are doing things either regionally or statewide to take advantage of those policy changes that hopefully will come, that will put us in a competitive advantage over others to grow the businesses and attract them. So,
we're in the very early stages of an administration, and this is a very different transition than Governor Baldacci had with his second term. He was already up to speed and already running. This is really going from zero, and really less than zero, because there haven't been a lot of Republican bench building over time, 30 years. So I think it's going to take some time to get up to speed. But look, they've talked about what they wanted to do in the campaign, which was streamline government, right. Make regulation easier, make it easier on business. They are about trying to fix those things first. I think their first couple of bills have been exactly what they said they were going to do in the campaign. So I'm optimistic. They seem to be following through on what they said they were going to do, and I think nothing but good can happen when we try to focus on creating jobs and putting people back to work.
And I would just add to that, I think it is early days, so we're waiting to see what's going to come out of this. Although I have met with both John Butera and the commissioner, just so you know. And John has been around, worked in Waterville and worked for earlier administrations, and certainly knows the business. He was formerly with the Department of Economic and Community Development. So I don't think there's any kind of move to throw the baby out with the bathwater, if you will. But
that was one of my questions.
Wait and see.
That was my next question about that baby in the bathwater. There has been talk about should the ECD even exist, Department of Economic and Community Development, and some of that was discussed in the campaign too. And then you kind of got a feeling, well, no, maybe it doesn't. It shouldn't exist. So you're saying that you're not seeing that kind of attitude?
No, I'm not. I think it's a learning phase. I have met with the commissioner, and while he's been, you've read about no direct experience with the ECD, and he'll say that. Right. But he also says he's open to...
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
And it's not unprecedented. It's not unprecedented in our recent past.
Right.
Let's not jump off any bridges here.
I'm not arguing that point at all, but he'll also say he's a person with an open mind. And my experience, though limited with him, is that is what he's doing. He's learning right now. He's seeing who's out there, what they're doing. He even said, and he's been quoted in the paper on this, and he said this to me when I met with him, that when he first came in, he thought DEP and Maine Revenue Services were, trouble spots.
Right.
Said after spending some time with them, he understands better what they do right now, and he doesn't necessarily carry that position anymore. So I'll give him credit for being open and considering.
Yeah, I saw those comments too, and that did help me kind of see that.
I do think it's an opportunity, though, for us to take this change and do it dramatically and be transformative.
Tell me more.
Well, I think that you got to look back. We can't have silos anymore in terms of delivery of services for economic development.
We've done that.
We are interdependent systems. workforce development, business attraction, small business development, capital formation, et cetera. They're all intertwined. So you look at the whole infrastructure that has to take place as well as intellectual infrastructure.
Is there an opportunity there for efficiencies too? And
Absolutely.
savings?
Efficiency, bureaucracy, reductions, single administration, approval processes. That's what we need to do. And if we don't start merging those kinds of processes in Augusta, it's not going to happen out in the marketplace. And I think a lot of states are beginning to move towards that. And particularly if you look at, I think, intellectual infrastructure that we have to use in Maine as our competitive advantage, that's where those future jobs are. You got to link that labor, incumbent labor, business training, et cetera, together and not separate that out. You can't do that.
There isn't any question. And if you talk to Mr. Congdon, he gets that, connecting especially higher ed with our existing and emerging jobs. He gets that concept and is really working hard on that particular issue. So I think I see lots of reasons to be optimistic. You also have a new legislature. It's not just the administration. There's a new committee now that's formed. It's not just bread anymore.
It's put labor in.
So it's labor into that place, and I think those are right on the same lines as what you're talking about.
But that also goes to what Mike was saying is that we're recognizing and valuing the customer. We're not sending them from door to door, and we break the silos down at the delivery and service level.
But how many times have we said that? I mean, I've only been in Maine for 17 years now. I've heard that story 4 times, but probably many more times.
But this is the time to seize that opportunity to actually put it in.
To really do it.
To really do it.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be good. Well, how would that relate to then, as long as we're on that topic, get away from this stuff. I mean, because you guys do represent different groups, different constituencies, and different funding sources, all that kind of stuff. How would we be able to have that coordination amongst yours? I can see at the state level between Department of Labor, Department of Economic Development, but how about at the delivery level?
I have some pretty strong feelings about some of the delivery level services. And part of the problem that we struggle with at Main & Company, and of course our primary focus is to bring businesses from away. We do some work with existing businesses and emerging businesses, but primarily we try to bring companies here. And my biggest struggle with the local communities is, to what are you willing to say yes?
Yeah.
Just answer that question. What do you want to say, and how long? If a company or a business wants to locate here, how long does it take him to get approved? I get asked that question all the time by prospective companies, and I can't answer it for most locations in Maine. I don't know how long it takes, and I don't know to what they're willing to say yes to. That's got to be done first. And we look to Augusta for all the answers. Right. I think we're doing it wrong.
I would agree. I don't think Augusta has all the answers, neither does Washington. I mean, the answers really reside at the local and regional level. And when you put together systems like, I'm a big believer in the Mobilize Maine effort that we've been doing in the greater Bangor region. That system has put the private sector back in charge, not the nonprofit world. It's put the private sector identifying what are those 1 or 2 sectors or clusters that we want to focus on. Is it composite?
So they can answer that question.
They can answer the question.
What do you guys want to do?
Then Matt takes that on the road and finds a company.
Now I can go sell something.
We're going to do this.
Nothing about that. Okay, good. And that kind of gets to that other issue about, should there be an overarching state plan for economic development, or would that even be possible? Real quickly. Bob, what do you think?
I think that we need to have some guidance as to where they're going to head with their policy directions, whether it be education. Okay. Are they going to continue these investments? Because ultimately we need to rely on having that go forward. Or else I cannot give Matt a straight answer because I'm not getting one.
Yeah. So it all fits in with the education.
Absolutely.
Hold on. We're going to come back to this. I have to wrap this segment right here, but we're going to come back and start right there, and I'll bring you right in. Okay. So hold on. Stay with us. We'll be right back to ask if Maine can really compete with other states when it comes to business attraction. Stay tuned.
Maine Biz Sunday is brought to you by Bangor Savings Bank, where you can enjoy free ATMs worldwide.